God of War Ragnarök is an almighty achievement, and creates a new high that makes many of its peers look positively mortal by comparison.
I'm probably the only person that doesn't like this game. I just didn't find it very enjoyable. But I will say, the story is great. Some of the characters sucked. Well, no. Most of the characters sucked. The main characters, Kratos, Atreus, Freya, Brock, and Sindri, they were all great. I enjoyed their characters, but other than that, the rest sucked and I did not care about any of them. And I do think there were some cool moments here and there, like when you go and get Ragnarok in that little space area, I thought that was pretty cool. Or the beginning when you fight Thor, or another boss fight where you fight Nidhogg, however you say it. I thought those were great bosses. Also the Angerboda's grandma. I thought those bosses were cool, and those were some cool moments in the game. But other than that, I did not like the game, mainly because of the combat. I thought the enemy encounters throughout the whole game were very boring. But I thought the rest of the combat sucked. Every other time when you were fighting, groups of enemies, I did not enjoy at all, because your weapons I feel like they do no damage. They're just like wet slaps across the face. I feel like they do nothing. Especially the axe. I hated the axe in 2018 and I hate it now. I feel like it does absolutely nothing. It's so slow to use and I feel like it doesn't do enough damage. I used the Blades of Chaos the whole game. Even when I got the spear, I tried it out for a little and I was like, I don't want to use this. This is also boring. I thought the spear was more enjoyable only because it was fast. It still didn't do that much damage, but it was faster and more fun to use in my opinion. Every time you encountered enemies though, I was like, oh my god, please don't make me do this. I don't want to do this. It's so boring. I'm just spamming R1 the whole time and I don't like it at all. There were times where I thought the flow of the combat had a nice rhythm. I was like, oh yeah, I'm really going at it. Oh yeah. And then an enemy comes out of nowhere from behind me and hits me, or an arrow or some projectile comes out of nowhere and hits me, and I'm like, oh my fucking god. I was just enjoying the flow, and I was like, oh my god, yes, I'm doing it, and then you fucking come out of nowhere. Or when you're, going at an enemy, you have them stunned a little bit, and then randomly, boom, they're out of the stun, and then they're just blocking you, or they do a punishing attack on you, and I'm like, why did you do this? I was going at you. I was really attacking you. I had you in a stun. And then you just randomly come out of nowhere and just do that to me? I thought that was so annoying when that happened, and it ruined the flow of the combat so much. This game also just does not know when to stop with the enemies. After like an emotional moment, sometimes there will be a group of enemies you're fighting, and then you're like, oh my god, can I just like enjoy this moment? The game also doesn't know when to stop spawning enemies. Later in the game, when the game gets more difficult, there's still like loads of enemies spawning and spawning and spawning more and more. And I'm like, oh my god, please. I just want to get this game over with. I just want to beat this one group of enemy and then move on. But no. You kill like 2 enemies, another 2 spawn back. And it just keeps happening, and I'm like, this is just so boring and I don't like it. But overall, I think the only good thing about this game really is the story. That's all I cared about. The rest was complete garbage, other than, like some characters, the graphics, other moments. The combat really holds this game back. It was the same in 2018. It's the same now. Just repetitive enemies fighting you. Repetitive combat. Yeah, the bosses, they weren't repetitive this time, but they still, most of the time, weren't that fun. Other than the few I listed earlier, those were kind of cool. But, I don't know, I'm just disappointed. I thought this game would have been better than 2018's, but it wasn't. Overall, I think I would give this game maybe a 4 to 5 out of 10.